Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Business Owner Spotlight interviews again today. We have a great opportunity to meet a new friend of mine. Her name is Bonnie Flom, and she's with Billing Buddies, which is a medical billing service that has been around actually, she's been in the business for 39 years, operating in this business for nearly 30. And we have the opportunity to be able to hear about her story. And so I just want to welcome Bonnie. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us and tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I have been in the medical billing field my entire life. I either know medical billing or how to make ice cream cones. That's the two talents I have.
I
I
love that. I think I
I
like the ice cream cones better, but go ahead.
yeah, they're tempting, aren't they? I started in 1984 at a hospital doing billing, which was a great experience because I got to bill on both types of claim forms. Billers out there would understand the UB and the 1500 form. Um, and in 94, 10 years after I worked at the hospital, I started my first billing company. And that was called Rapid Return Medical Billing, and it's still in existence. And I sold that in 2006 and took a couple years off and wrote a college textbook called
Wow.
Mastering Medisoft that they use to teach medical billing students out of.
Okay.
And then in 2009, I started Billing Buddies, and we do billing, contracting, credentialing, expert witness services. So we offer a wide variety of consulting services.
I noticed that you've got a great website, and I like your LinkedIn profile too, both your personal profile but also the business one. So tell us a little bit about the billing services. Do you have specific target markets that you prefer to work in or have found are best for you, or is it more holistic?
It's what people describe it as allied providers. And allied providers are providers that typically don't prescribe. They're like chiropractors, psychologists, speech pathologists, audiologists, waivered services. And we also have a few providers that do prescribe, but it tends to be the smaller clinics that are one or two or three people. We've got a couple large clinics that have maybe 20 people at them, but it tends to be, I get called from solo providers.
So this is a really complex world today, isn't it? I mean, in terms of whether it be a doctor of some kind or one of these allied type providers that you just described. I mean, their specialty is in their craft, right? I mean, in terms of healing and wellness and those types of things. And I can't imagine what it's like to have to try and navigate the insurance world and some of the other things that you do. And that's really your focus and the benefit that you bring to them, isn't it?
Right. And what we do is we have like master books for each specialty because there's different rules and regulations. You're very insightful with that, with each specialty. And we lately in the state, EIDBI services and ARM services, those are mental health services for EIDBIs for autism, and
Oh,
armed
I see. Okay.
services is integrating a population into the society. We have quite a bit of that type of billing, and I'm surprised how much that has grown our business. That one market, the two actually services. So
Interesting. And is that still in the billing area? Is that what it is, or is there more to that?
yeah, it's in the billing. And for us to do the billing, we only need three things. We need the patient demographics. That's the form with their name and address and policy number. And then we need a charge journal of what services were rendered. And then we need the payment advice or remittance advice saying what was paid. And then we can do our job, and it works really effectively. And with more and more people adopting software programs. We work with all kinds of software programs where we log in to Simple Practice or Therapy Notes or at Jane app, and we harvest the data out of there. We get the demographics and the charge information from the client's EHR system.
I see. So yeah, so that's interesting. We, as I mentioned during our conversation earlier, we have a medical clinic. Actually, it's one of our specialties is in the wellness field, and I know one of them uses Jane, another one uses Sked, I think, is the app that they use. But Jane is a big one. But now, gosh, when I think about that, you're actually not just operating within the insurance world, but you probably have to be careful with HIPAA and some of the privacy things and all sorts of things. So my guess is you've got a lot that you're balancing as you're helping these providers.
Right. We with HIPAA, we're considered a business associate. And
Okay.
with every provider we work, we need to have a business associate agreement because we're exchanging protected health information, the patient's name and birth date. And so we're all governed by HIPAA. That we need yearly training for that. And another thing about Billing Buddies is all of our staff are certified through the American Medical Billing Association. And we maintain our certification by getting 15 CEUs per year. So we're all trained and continue training to stay on top of the rules and regulations.
Oh, that's great. So that's good to know for providers that may be looking for these types of services to be able to simplify their day, right? I mean, be able to allow them to do what they enjoy doing, which is taking care of people.
Right, right. It frees them up. It
Yeah.
really does.
So you told us a little bit about kind of how you got to Billing Buddies and how that's going today and some of the complexities of it. So how would you, if you're kind of looking into the crystal ball, so to speak, in the future, where do you see your business going in the, let's say, the next 3 to 5 years?
The contracting and credentialing has been really expanding. And there's 14 of us here that do billing. And I have account managers that oversee the various clinics. They're assigned a clinic. But at this time, I'm doing all the contracting and credentialing myself. And I can see adding staff to do growing that side of the business because it's a big demand for it.
Got it. And then, so how do you find new clients?
We get a lot of referrals. I do Google ads and the website, I get a lot of leads on the website, LinkedIn. Um, I don't really do mailings or anything like that. It's mostly all internet based or word of mouth.
Okay. And so you said you're based in Minnetonka, so obviously the western part of the Twin Cities. But are you limited to geography, or is this something you can literally do anywhere across the country? And do you have
That's
a
a
preference for that?
great question. We have a clinic in Arkansas and a couple of clinics in Iowa and two clinics in Oregon. So we can bill anywhere. What's different about it is people think Medicare is a agency that you just bill Medicare, and it's really serviced by independent insurance companies.
Hmm.
So for Minnesota, for example, NGS is the Medicare, National Government Services processes claims, where in Oregon, Noridian processes claims. And so we have to send claims different places if they're out of Minnesota than we typically do for our clients here. We have 54 clients, and I think about 8 of them are out of state. So the majority are from here.
Yeah, but it sounds like this Rubik's cube of complexity of things that you have to deal with. I mean, and obviously your expertise in it is a big benefit to the providers that you're servicing. Um, so I guess just kind of looking at that, what you say has been one of the biggest things that you've learned during this journey since the mid 1990s, and what is it that you think a business owner like you would be able to benefit from in terms of hearing how you to shorten their learning curve?
It's a great question. Um, I got into this as a biller, and I didn't know sales or contracting or hiring or training or setting up a computer even, or the first day I remember, I started October 18th of 94, and I sat down at my desk. Well, nothing worked. You had to figure out how to get the phone going, the fax going. And then I had bought a computer that was supposed to just work out of the box to do billing. It was from a company out in California called National Claims Service. And I found out after I got my first client, there wasn't a modem in it.
Oh,
And at
wow.
that time, you sent claims through a modem rather than the internet.
Yeah.
And I had to get that revamped. And I was really over my head, trying to figure out all the pieces that I didn't think about doing. One book that's really helped me is Michael Gerber's E-Myth Revisited.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it structures your business into systems rather than just one person trying to do everything. You develop a system for it and you train somebody, so it helps you grow in and strategize and get everything in front of you clear, what needs to be done, from sales to technical work to accounting. There's so many jobs a business owner has.
Well, it sounds like you love learning. You mentioned the CEUs that you have to do just for the to maintain your credentials, but also the book E-Myth Revisited. I mean, that's a great book. I just bought. So he and I forget the doctor's name, but he's a chiropractor that wrote the E-Myth for chiropractors. And I'm not sure if you've seen that one or not, but that's a good book too, specifically for the wellness industry. I think a lot of the principles can be applied to other aspects of the wellness business as well. But
Yes, I went to his Michael Gerber's training in California too.
oh wow.
So he's been really an inspiration to my business.
That's fantastic. So, you mentioned the way you've grown. Did you back in the day when you're putting a phone down, old style phone into a modem, did you picture yourself having 14 people working with you for doing the billing work and 54 clients?
No, no, I just pictured doing it myself. I had no desire to hire anybody. I was afraid of marketing, and I was afraid of hiring people because I don't like being the boss, I guess is how to explain it. And I was afraid of those two things. I was afraid of sales, I was afraid of training. So I had to really work at that. And there's so many good books out there. There's so much audio and visual and YouTube. And I mean, there's just so much you can learn by reading and watching. And that's
I
that's what I did.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a big difference between going from the heads down biller back in the 80s to actually running the business. I mean, what a dramatic shift for you. So it sounds like Gerber's book was a big help for that.
It was.
Well, I know we're trying to be careful with our time and everything today, but if you were to reflect back on this journey of yours, is there any one thing in particular that you would say that you would like to share with the other business owners that may be watching this to be able to say, here's something that if I had to do over again, this is one thing that I would focus on?
One thing I got better at is making sure I had good contracts in place. Our contracts month to month, and we'll have clients we've had 20 years. We've had clients, that have followed me. And but we have contracts, and we take our payment method. They secure their account with either a credit card or a bank account, and that has made the accounting side of things, in the cash flow side of things, because when you have 14 people, you've got to depend on paying them.
Mm.
And when I first got into business, I would, invoice somebody and they'd take a month or two to pay, and it would really be hard on cash flow when you're supporting staff. And so I got into a habit of having a contract, and in the contract, they give either their credit card or their bank account, and I just auto charge it.
Oh, I see. Do you use QuickBooks by chance, or do you use something
Yes,
else?
I use QuickBooks, and that they have reoccurring um, transactions, so it auto invoices my clients. It's
Makes
really
it
nice.
easier for you, makes it easier for them. They still get the receipt. They don't have to worry about logging in to respond to the invoice. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes,
That's great. Well, I think that's one of the key takeaways out of this conversation for me. I mean, one, just understanding the complexity of the world that you operate in and how you're really designed to be able to systematize and simplify for the providers that you work with. But I think this is one of the big points, if you don't mind me just kind of restating what you said, and that is having a system for you as a billing company. You've even gone a step further to make billing easier for yourself, right? I mean, that's kind of what you just described. And
exactly.
yeah, kind of demystifying some of the complexities of running a business, because one of the things that I've found, whether it be the wellness providers or even like a chiropractor or a naturopathic doctor, or even a remodeling company, they're really good at swinging a hammer, doing drywall, painting, those types of things. But the business of businesses can oftentimes be a challenge. But having tools like what you just described are super helpful. So, well, that's great. Well, so there's a couple of things here. One, I want to just remind the audience that this is a great way for us to get to know each other in these conversations, these interviews. And I just want to thank Bonnie, first of all, for joining us on the show. But secondly, I just think there's an opportunity for those of you that are in the space that she serves in these allied services to be able to get to know her, learn more about who she is, about her business, and how your business could potentially benefit from her. So, Bonnie, do you mind if I ask, is there a way for people to get in contact with you?
Sure. My best way is to call or text me. Either one works, and my number is 612-432-2366. Should I repeat
Awesome.
that?
Yeah, one more time would be great.
612-432-2366.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. If you don't mind the phone calls, I hope it starts ringing off the hook, is what I hope. So,
That would be fun.
yeah, for sure. Well, that's great. Well, thanks again for taking the time to be a part of the interview. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to getting some feedback from you too, as far as people reaching out to you. So I am grateful for that. Grateful for your time, Bonnie. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.